actual example that we have to write out. I want to mention that if you have Dr. Siri or Mr. Jackson as your instructor, that their tests are going to be mostly, if not 100%, multiple choice. So you do not have to worry about actually having to do some work. It does help because you would technically consider this maybe a harder example than what you'll see on your test. So if you do harder examples than what might be on your test, then that gives you a good way to know that you will for sure be much more prepared than if you were just to do something that was on par with the test or maybe a little less, than what would be on the test. But if you're doing something that's harder, then that's going to make sure that you are definitely as prepared as possible. So this is asking us to take this questionnaire on housing, and it shows us the information obtained from 25 respondents, so it's already telling us how many people were in this total here so that I don't have to count. It asks us to construct a frequency distribution for the data. So, let's list our classes. We have A, C, H, and M, my favorite store. And then let's go ahead and tally and do the frequency. Well, the tally and the frequency are the same thing. So if you sit there and you count how many that you have, if I tally through class A and I find out how many there are, I end up finding that there's 5. So I just make a tally like that and do that for the 5th one, and I can write the frequency as 5, so that's how many it is. Now over here, I count how many C's I have, and I end up with 8. So I do the same thing. My tally, I write 8 here, and then I look through and I count how many H's there are, and I get 6. I write that there in my tally, and I write the frequency there. And then, last but not least, when it comes to mobile homes, there's 6 as well. Now, double check that this total in the frequency column adds up to 25. And it does. We're good there. Now the percent. Let's talk about how do you find that. Well, I know the total is 25 for this entire thing. So I take each of my classes, I take the frequency of 5, and I just divide these two numbers. I just do 5 out of 25, and if I divide that in the calculator, you're going to get a decimal. I'm going to get 0.20, or 20%. Now, it might be up to your teacher. Some teachers might want to write 20% with a little percent symbol and just do that, and so your total will add up to 100%. Or your teacher might have showed you that they want you to do it as a decimal, and that your total will add up to 1. Both of them are correct. It's not that one is better than the other. See how I put those decimal points in? But it just depends on what your teacher was having you do and which one they prefer. So stick with that way. I'll do the decimal for mine. The next one, I would just do 8 divided by 25. Punch that into a calculator. And that gives me 0.32. So I put that here. And then I have 6 for the next one, so I really only have to do it once. 6 divided by 25. Punch that into a calculator, and I get 0.24. And so I double check, do all those add up to 1, and they do. So I know I did that correctly. If yours don't, you might want to go back and divide them just to make sure that you did the math correctly there. Find those percents. Teacher wants you to write it using the symbols and add it up to 100%. Definitely stick to that method because you want to go by with what your teacher tells you to do. Now that part's okay. We're going to move on to part B. It's saying if I were to construct a pie graph for this data that I just did in this example, what will be the size of the angle of the section that represents people living in condominiums? So I'm looking at C. Well, if you remember, how do I figure that out? A circle is 360 degrees all around. Now I'm asking for my pie graph. How big is this piece of pie that's going to be devoted to C? I don't know what will be the angle. I know that C takes up 32%, says so right there, of my data, so I know that that is going to be 32% of this pie graph, but I'm trying to find the angle. Well, that percent is going to help us find the angle. So what they have you do is they have you take this fraction part right here that you did, this division, and you just divide it again, and you just take this answer, and you multiply it by 360 degrees, because that's how many degrees are in a circle. And this is taking up 32% of that circle. This is going to tell us how many degrees out of 360 it's taken up. So I could use the 825, or I already found what the decimal was. I can just use the 0.32. They're the same thing. So it's up to you, whichever one you want to do here. And in this case, you actually get a decimal. You get 115.2 degrees. But here's the deal. I noticed in the book they didn't have any decimals. They would just round it up or down to the next one. Double check if you have to do a bunch of these, that these all add up to 360 if you're rounding up and down in case you make a mistake somewhere. I wouldn't want you to get points off because you accidentally rounded it correctly and now they don't add up to 360. So I'm actually going to have to round this down to 115 degrees. And that's what I'm going to go by as my answer. Because that's what I saw that they were doing in the book. Just want to make sure that you're on par with that.